weitere Reise mit DB Regio. Auf Wiedersehen.
Hey guys, my name is Peyton,
And I'm Amy.
and we live in the US, but we love to travel internationally. And we're getting ready to head out on the Rheinsteig Trail in Germany here soon, and we wanted to take you guys along with us and share some of our experiences along the way. So the Rheinsteig is considered to be one of the most beautiful long-distance backpacking trails in all of Europe, and we didn't even know this place existed until like a year ago. We also hope that if you're someone who's watching this and you are inspired to go hike this trail, that maybe this can be a great resource for you, and in that way you can get a feel of what it would be like if you did this yourself.
Right, because all the videos for research were mostly in German.
Yes.
So
I could kind of do it, but it's not ideal for everybody. So to back up a little bit, let me tell you a little bit about why we decided to do this in the first place. We were in Ireland about a year ago, and we decided that that trip was going to be a little bit more relaxed than normal, a little bit more low-key, less adventure.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do a 10-mile hike to break our record. And we were staying on Achill Island, and I found two different trails that I could kind of combine together and get it up to a little bit over 10 miles so we could break our record. We pulled into the parking lot, and we get ready to get out of the car, and you decided that you had a better way to do it.
I changed his route for sure.
Yes.
But he wanted to go up the road, and I wanted to hike the mountain. I didn't want to go up the road.
We were still gonna hike the mountain anyways, but we got to the mountain a little bit earlier that way and found out that there was no path on the mountain.
There's no bad.
On all trails, it said that there was a trail, and that was a mere suggestion.
It was.
So we were faced with the decision of, are we going to hike up this mountain and or are we just gonna turn tail and go home? And we decided we're gonna do this, and we ended up having to hike up and down the mountain once, and then up and back over it again. And it took us 10 hours to go 10 miles. It was a real struggle to do this. And we get back to our car at 10:30 at night. I have my headlamp on. Amy's like falling in holes in the mountain and somehow not getting hurt. We were very lucky on that, honestly.
Yes.
You're ripping your pants. It was a mess. And we get back and we get some dinner and we go to bed, and I wake up in the morning, and obviously I'm pretty sore, and I think that this is probably the last hike that Amy's ever gonna go on with me. And I was very surprised that you didn't say that.
Yeah, I think this was the hardest thing that I've ever done, both physically and mentally. And after completing it and going through all of that, I thought, well, now I can do anything.
And I'd been wanting to backpack for a while, but didn't want to say it to her because I didn't think you'd be interested.
Right.
And now that I knew that this was a possibility, I have a book that my parents gave me, a National Geographic list of the best hikes, and they have beautiful pictures in there. And we had at one point looked in the book and we saw the Rheinsteig Trail in Germany. We enjoy having goals in our life, and I thought that that would be a good thing to, see if we could pull this off.
Yeah, see through. Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about the trail itself. So the Rheinsteig gets its name from the Rhine River, and it follows the Rhine River starting in the city of Bonn and goes 200 miles south to the city of Wiesbaden. One of the unique things about this trail is that it's broken up into 21 stages. And honestly, that's what makes it possible for us to do this trail. Most trails that I know that people go on, for backpacking in the US, they're very long, they're very remote. There's almost no civilization around.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you can find a Dollar General to go to restock up on food.
Nothing around whatsoever.
Yes. But there's bears. There's bears everywhere, and they all want to eat you. Not really, but you get the idea. One of the cool things about the Rheinsteig is that it is not like this at all.
Right, it goes town to town,
Yes.
and that's part of the different stages.
Yes, so you know that you wake up in the morning, you can drink coffee, and you can get a pastry at a bakery.
Yes.
You can go and hike for 5 hours, and you're in the next town. You get a nice big dinner at a restaurant. There's also even a train route that follows the Rhine River and the Rheinsteig. So this allows us to make our own greatest hits of the trail.
Right.
We can go and pick a few pieces, take a train, skip 5 stages, and then go to a few other ones.
Yeah.
You don't even have to worry about getting eaten by bears.
Yeah, but it's also just nice to know that that's a safety net if something does go wrong, because it's vacation and who knows what could happen.
We usually get some injuries every time.
Yeah,
They're
something
not-
will happen.
We've been to some hospitals in foreign countries.
That's true. But yes, so having that as a backup to go to the next place where we already booked the place that we're staying. No matter what, we'll be able to get there.
Yes. So let's talk about some of the rules that we've made for ourselves over traveling the last few years. The first one is this philosophy that I found on Reddit, and it is called one bagging. You bringing one backpack with you when you travel, especially if you're flying. So the goal is that you are checking no bags at all, and you're just bringing one backpack with you for everything. So when we go like visit our parents on a weekend or we're traveling for 2 weeks, I just bring this backpack. It expands out to get even larger than this, and half the time I don't even need to do that.
I would say when we're visiting family though, even then we do
2 people in one bag.
One backpack.
Yes, it is, yeah. And some of this is like, you have to buy some things in order to make this a little bit easier, but most of it is not buying things. It's more philosophical about like, what do I need to cut out of my life in order to make my travel experience better? And this really comes in handy when you are going on like a large backpacking trip, because you can't have your little roller luggage with you on a 15-mile trail.
Or on cobblestone streets.
Yes, exactly. Like it's applicable to what we're doing, but also to a lot of everyday travel that you might have to do, even like business trips. You've told me about how some of your coworkers are like, cannot comprehend.
Yeah, absolutely.
how we do this.
I have one coworker who, first of all, can't understand, but I think part of that is because her husband packs 10 pairs of underwear on a 3-day trip.
Which is insane. It's not like you can wear multiple shirts at a time. You can't wear multiple pairs of underwear at a time.
No,
so
you
how
sure can't.
how are you soiling yourself that much in Las Vegas that this is a problem? I don't know. I don't know what they do in Las Vegas.
That's right. That's true. We don't know. But yeah, we try to get it down to just the one bag for both of us in order to be more free on our vacation.
It makes it so easy to be spontaneous when everything is on your back. You can miss a train. You can miss a flight, and you don't have to worry about your checked baggage going somewhere else.
That's right. You have everything you need, and it's right on your back.
Exactly. There have been times when we were trying to meet up with some friends in Edinburgh, and they said, hey, sorry, we're out of town. We're running late. We're going to be like 5 hours late. And we were able to just find something to do for 5 hours.
From the city.
And it wasn't a big deal that we didn't have to make sure our luggage didn't get stolen or forgotten somewhere. So pretty much every couple that I've talked to about travel, or really life, is that there's one person that makes the lists, and then there's the other person who doesn't want to be tied down to any lists. So I'm the one who makes the lists. I plan the itinerary. I plan this out 4 months. It takes a while to do this kind of thing.
And I just show up.
Yeah, but at the same time though, like she deserves to have the trip customized to her as well.
Yeah.
And some of that means leaving room for something unexpected to happen.
Yeah, so what Peyton does is he does the research and he'll give me a list of maybe 5 different things we could do the next day on our trips. And so that way we can kind of see how we're feeling and make decisions based on like, okay, this sounds fun. Let's do this and this tomorrow. And so it gives me the chance to pick and choose and feel like I have some control over it, but he's already done all the research to make sure things are open. And
yeah, there are plenty of places that will just be closed for a month, or they look like they're closed permanently, or just knowing like if you're gonna make a reservation that day, there's a backup in case they won't let you make reservations, or you don't speak French well enough to make the reservations, which that's happened before.
Yes.
So yeah, we've kind of found our happy medium here, but it is definitely in every relationship, especially when you're traveling, there's a bit of give and take to make it work. And our last kind of big rule that we have is that we're willing to go to big tourist hotspots, but we try to minimize the amount of time that we're spending there.
Yeah.
Places that are popular for a reason. They're probably pretty good. Some of them are just bad tourist traps. But we found that like there are certain cities or certain landmarks or things that we feel like we should at least check out.
Absolutely.
But we will only go for a short amount of time. We also aren't going to spend a ton of money on it, or we try to find alternatives. There are times when we will go to a less popular city instead of hanging out in the one that you can brag to your friends about. Like we flew into Amsterdam a year ago on a trip, and we could have spent the whole day in Amsterdam, but we decided to go to Utrecht, which is a little bit smaller, a little bit slower, and a little bit more interesting. And unlike Amsterdam, there are a few locals that actually live there, because almost everyone who's in Amsterdam is not actually from Amsterdam and they're a tourist. We also sometimes vary up when we're going places, so we will change the time of day.
On all of our trips that we do, there's always one day that is a sunrise day.
Most people say, I don't want to wake up at 5 in the morning on my vacation.
And we're crazy.
And it's great because then we get to go to places all by ourselves. Like we did this for the Duomo Cathedral in Milan. probably the most popular place you could visit in Milan, Italy.
Yes.
And we got there at like 7:30 in the morning.
And we're one of 4 people.
Yes, there's a giant plaza that's just empty. There's almost no one there. And we got to kind of like enjoy it for ourselves. We got some cool pictures from it.
Absolutely.
And then we went back to this area at like 4 o'clock later in the day to go to somewhere else. And this plaza was full of people. I think that it was like over 1,000 people there.
So our biggest recommendation is do a sunrise. Like some of our previous trips, like Ireland, we had the goal of hiking a 10-mile hike. So we like goals. And
Yes, we love goals here in the Gessel household. We are kind of known from some of our friends of being people that love goals.
we like goals.
And we're also recording this before we go on the Rheinsteig, so we're telling you the goals to keep us accountable.
That's true. That's true. But for this trip, our first goal is to actually complete the 5 stages of the Rheinsteig that we are wanting to do. Like we are setting our goals to go do this. We want to complete it.
And hopefully we won't also be completing the 5 stages of grief by the time we are done with the trail. Fingers crossed, guys. We've been practicing for months to try to get this stamina and endurance to do this.
Yes.
But like, you never know when we're gonna fall in another hole, and this time we'll actually break our legs.
Right,
So
absolutely. And especially like finding out really not that long ago that we're actually doing 4 days of hiking back to back.
yes.
Rather than, I just thought it was 2, a rest, 2, and then another rest.
Yeah.
No, it's 4 back to back.
The only way to hit all of the other silly things that we couldn't plan around we had to do it that way.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. But yes, being able to complete that is a big goal.
Yeah. So our next goal, though, is to make a German friend. Pretty much anytime we travel somewhere, we have a way of just like meeting random people, and you know, we hit it off well and end up hanging out with them and befriend them. And
Every time.
yes.
Without fail.
So there's a pretty good chance that this is going to happen, but I don't have any real leads on who it's going to be. I have some.
Right.
Okay, I guess I have some ideas, but I just haven't told you yet.
Okay, great.
But I was talking with my German teacher recently, and I had to write do an essay question about like, well, what are you trying to get out of this class? I told her that like I want to be able to learn my vocabulary and kind of get better at conversations, so that way I can make more friends and have more meaningful interactions with people on the trails. There's a good chance we'll pull this off.
Yeah.
And our last one, which is definitely the weirdest goal that we have, is to acquire a Turkish copy of the book Ready Player One. So my friend Chris is a really big fan of Ready Player One.
Yeah, he has a collection.
He also has a child named after the main character. Because of this, he collects all these different language versions because they have different cover art. That's kind of the appeal. They put them on the bookshelf and stuff. He was telling me recently about how the Turkish version is kind of hard to order online in the US. So I have allegedly a copy getting shipped from Turkey to Wiesbaden in Germany. So if everything pans out right, I'm going to be able to buy a Turkish copy of this book at this German bookstore, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that home to him. So without further ado, let's get over to Germany. We just started hiking on the Rheinsteig here. We're about 1 mile in. Yesterday, we got into town in the afternoon into Königswinter. That is our first stop on the trail. And we ended up going up to the castle. There are 2 castles in Königswinter. The first one is Schloss Drachenburg. That is an 1800s castle, very new in the world of castles, I guess you could say, but very beautiful. Yeah, we climbed up into some of the towers. And then this morning we got to go up and see the Drachenfels, which is the ruins of a castle from the 1100s. I don't know, I think there's good and bad things about both of those. We like a good old destroyed castle, but it is nice to occasionally see one that...
What it would look like.
Yes. What are some of your favorite things so far that we've done?
Slept.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get adjusted to the time change difference and food and
I feel
things.
like it's just getting harder every year.
Yeah.
Every time we travel.
And it's because we're old, honestly.
That's right. We used to be able to pull a whole day and stay all the way up until bedtime. And now we can't even last without getting a nap in. I'm just excited to be in the small towns now, going from one town to another. This city of Frankfurt was not that exciting.
Yeah, we don't mind some big cities here and there. We like big cities in the U.S., obviously.
Yeah.
But I think we like the charm of the small town a lot better in Deutschland.
And it was, well, we were there on a Sunday when we first got there, and literally you could hear yourself breathing. It was so quiet.
Yeah, when's the last time you heard of a city that was so quiet? I think it is because we were there on a Sunday, honestly.
Yeah.
That whole culture of you be quiet on Sunday, you don't do anything loud, you rest.
They go to the playground, but we weren't near any playgrounds.
Right.
But yeah, no, grocery stores are closed and everything. So it was like eerily quiet.
Yes. Our bodies still feel good right now. We're trying to
Cute.
Yeah, the trail is cute. We're trying to pace ourselves on the first day. Everyone tells us you need to be very slow on your first day. Don't overdo it.
Legs already feel like jello.
Yep.
We're trying.
So we're taking a break here on our second day of hiking. We just left Bad Honnef maybe an hour ago, and we're really hungry already. So we're getting ready to eat what's called a Nussecke. It's the German term that means a nut corner. Other than chocolate and nuts, I don't really know what's in this, but we're really excited to try it out.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, tell me how it is.
I expected it to be hard, but it's soft.
Yeah. So is it like a granola, maybe?
Yeah, that's good.
Almost flaky.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling this morning? How much pain are you in versus how much pain you expected to be in?
It's not as bad as I thought I would be today. Like, definitely sore in like the shoulders and like the hips, but I feel like that's the worst part.
Yeah, my legs are perfectly fine, honestly. It's just the shoulders of 20-pound backpack really does a number on you after about 11 miles.
Yeah, and I feel like the hardest part is in the morning because my backpack's always heavier because I have all the food and all the water. And so by the end of it, I feel a lot better and it's easier to keep going. But the morning is the harder part.
Our second day on the trail from Bad Honnef to Linz was pretty difficult and long, but I feel like it turned out a lot easier just because we were distracted the whole time because we made a new friend. We met a woman named Tanya, a German woman, and we had been stopping every once in a while on the trail, and then she would pass us, and then sometimes she would stop, and then we would pass her. And eventually we just decided to say, would you like to hike with us? We can just hike together. We're going the same direction to the same place. And we spent a good 2 or 3 hours together with Tanya, and we talked about everything in life, differences between the US and Germany. We felt like we had a lot of similarities with her, honestly. Obviously, we all like hiking, so it was easy to converse with her about different things. And one funny thing she mentioned to us is that she's a mental health therapist, and she does some couples counseling. And there are some strategies that we use in our relationship that she might bring up to future patients.
Good job.
Linz am Rhein was easily the prettiest town we stayed in on the trip. It's known as the colorful city on the Rhine, and it also has many winding streets that give it so much character. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay in Linz forever and had to head out for our next day on the trail. Today we're taking a train south to the city of Koblenz. The public transportation was so smooth and gave us plenty of time to soak in the views. We actually took a cable car to cross back over the Rhine and started our hike at the gates of an old fortress. So we're out here on day 3. Amy's dealing with some shin splints today, so it's been a little bit more painful.
Yeah, it's been rough. Moving a little slower today.
Good news is that we have a shorter route today, hopefully about 6-ish miles by the time we're done.
Which seems easy compared to yesterday.
And we're excited tonight because we're spending the night in a monastery.
Yes.
So hopefully we won't be woken up at 5 a.m. for prayers or something.
We need sleep.
The Allerheiligenberg Monastery might have been our favorite place to stay on this trip. The views from the patio were beautiful. You could just smell the wood-burning stove when you walked in the hallways, and we had a huge breakfast the next morning. No 5 a.m. prayers, but we could have used some prayers for our next day of hiking. We're finishing up our 4th straight day of hiking today. We are almost in the town of Braubach. We can see the beautiful castle in the distance right here. We can hear all of the Linkin Park that they're playing down at the festival. Can't wait to see what that's like in person. We are definitely very tired today, and we have spent a lot of time climbing down at the Rupertsklamm, which is a gorge that has water kind of running through it, a stream, and a lot of very steep declines. How difficult was that for you?
I made it. I feel like the ropes helped a lot.
Yes.
But it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be worse, especially going down it.
Yeah. And there were a lot of people on the trail as well, and partially...
A lot of people. So we just stepped over and waited for people to go up and then would come back down.
Right. And I think a lot of it has to do with it being a holiday. Today is the German Reunification Day, and I was talking to our Airbnb host about what do people do on the holiday, and they mostly said...
relax.
Yeah, relax, maybe go on a hike. And that's what everyone seems to be doing today. So we've ran into a lot of people. They're all very kind, and we try to stay out of each other's ways. And I guess we're looking forward to going down to see the town of Braubach. One funny thing that happened earlier, though, we were cutting through one of these small villages, and these 2 grandmas came up to us. They were looking for the Greek restaurant, and they were struggling to find it. And I was able to help them out in German the whole time. They loved us. They loved me. It was just a funny experience of being able to help them find their Greek restaurant and give them something to smile and laugh about. Yes. So those are some of my favorite things that we do on the trail. So hopefully we'll meet some more Omas down in Braubach. We did not meet any Omas in Braubach, but we did have a fun chat with our Airbnb host, Nicole. I suppose that'll do. It rained for most of our time in town, so we stayed inside during the day, rested up, and prepared for our final day of hiking. Sunday was our longest and most difficult leg of the trail. We went from St. Goarshausen, about 14 and a half miles, to get to the town of Kaub. And it was probably the most beautiful part of the trip. It was, yes, the Lorelei Plateau, that area where the Rhine River kind of curves and bends, is very pretty, and we had just enough sunlight while we were up there before it started to drizzle a bit. And on our way to Kaub, we actually crossed through a Middle Ages market, which is similar to a Renaissance fair you might find in the US, but a little bit different, we found out. And we had some great food. And I got heckled by a juggler when we tried to leave his performance. And I also got to speak with someone who taught me how to speak like a Middle Ages German person. I now know how to say, Seid gegrüßt, which is apparently a greeting in Middle Ages German. And then we continued on, and this was one of the more difficult parts of the trip for you.
Yeah, I would say after the halfway point, I feel like that was the toughest part. Because it's like, oh, I still have 7 miles to go. And so I feel like that was the hardest from mile 7 to mile 10.
And most of the views were gone by that point as well, so there wasn't something fun. There wasn't the carrot on the stick to keep you going.
And it was a lot of up. Just up, up, up.
Yes. So we finally start coming down. We're getting close to finishing the trail, and we realized that you lost your phone.
Okay.
Here.
No word. Because, I remember at mile 10, we made it to the little hut. And then I had it in my pocket when we left the hut. Like, I remember feeling for it. Then we went and we were walking fast because we're like, we can see the town, let's go. And it had to have fallen out of my pocket along the route.
Yes, and just landed on the ground, we think. So we got to our hotel. We used our iPad to do the Find My iPhone, and we were able to locate it. The battery was about to die, And soon afterwards, we noticed that somebody had picked up the phone and had started charging it and was driving away with it. So we just gave them a call and said, hey, I think you found my phone. And within 10 minutes, they had brought it to our hotel. And the day was saved. You got really lucky.
I did. Well, I knew it'd be fine. I didn't have too much in it.
Yes. So the good thing, though, is that we did complete the trail, and we completed all 5 stages, which is our next goal crossed off.
Yes.
In total, we had 54.5 miles of hiking along the trail, along with several other miles of walking through towns and things like that.
True.
So thankfully we did it. Your injuries weren't too bad.
Nope.
And your phone is safe.
We have a phone.
So now that we're done with the trail, we're in Wiesbaden for a couple of days to rest and relax and to go to a lot of stores and buy some souvenirs. And thankfully, we were able to go to a bookstore today, but I picked up some German books and I also picked up a Turkish book. We are now in possession of Chris's copy of Ready Player One in Turkish. And I am excited to deliver it to him here in a few weeks.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so with that means that we have officially crossed off all 3 of our goals, and that means that we're good to head back to the States. We've been back for a couple of months now, and we just got back from a quick trip over to the city of Boston, where I was taking my German B1 language exam. And I don't have the results back from it yet, but honestly, it was just kind of a fun experience doing it. The test was very hard for me, but very fun. And I was talking with my friend Matt beforehand, and he wasn't even trying to be mean to me, but he said, like, if you fail a test, it's probably not a big deal because you seem like someone that would just like taking a test, right? And sadly, he is 100% right. I did enjoy taking a test for fun.
Right, whereas I would never do that.
Yes, and no one else would do that either. It's kind of just a me thing. But whenever Amy and I come back from a big trip like the Rheinsteig, the last thing that we want to do is just fall back into our old habits. We don't want to go back to the way that we were doing things before. We want to take things that we learned while we were on the trip and incorporate those into our daily lives going forward. So one of the small things that we do is just with cooking. I've been cooking a lot of the meals that we ate on the trail. You've been doing some baking recently.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot more German music, and honestly, I think you would hate most of it. So I listen to it in the car or when you're not around, just to not annoy you with that. But there also are a lot more like deeper and serious things that we feel like we've learned from this trip going forward. So I was just curious for you, like, what are some of your big takeaways from our time on the Rheinsteig?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest takeaway that I had was just being more in tune with my mind and my body and kind of just understanding how it works. I just know that with work and at home with your phones and everything like that, that it's so easy to become overstimulated to where it just causes you to be exhausted. Like, we're already back for 2 months. Christmas season doesn't help, but I am constantly being overwhelmed and overstimulated.
Today's her day off and she's getting texted about things.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm overstimulated constantly. And when we were on the trail, it was just such a nice relief. And we were exhausted, but it was just a completely different kind of exhausted. It's physically, but it felt so different than the mental exhaustion, which I feel like was a huge takeaway in understanding the differences there and knowing when I need to take that break. Another thing was anxiety. When we first got there, I felt like my anxiety levels were kind of through the roof. My body didn't want to settle, it didn't want to eat, it didn't want to sleep that first night, and just struggling there. But as soon as we hit that trail and started walking, everything just settled down. It all calmed down.
So cool.
Yeah, and I feel like that was a huge thing too, just knowing where to reset. Now I know I need to go out in nature and just take a walk if I'm, anxious or overstimulated. And then the last thing was just seeing how food energizes you when you are out on that trail and you're working out. Sometimes you eat food here, like at home, and lunch, next thing you know, you want an afternoon nap because you're tired. Whereas it was cool to see the opposite effect happen when we were on the trail. Food was giving us energy to keep pushing forward. We'd be tired, next thing we know, you eat that meal, now we're like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, it felt like a video game with our energy bars going up and our health bars increasing just from eating the pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny.
So yeah, those are the main takeaways for me on the trip.
Yeah. One thing that I feel like people really struggle with whenever they're traveling is not going that mental distancing. They do the physical distancing. They fly thousands of miles away, but they're still very easily reachable on their phones, even when they're supposed to be on vacation mode and you're not supposed to be contacting people. They say, yeah, give me a call if anything goes wrong. This defeats the purpose and doesn't really allow you to get into that zone that allows you to learn more about yourself and others in the world around you.
Right, I'm so good at it that I lost my phone.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, we're retconning that as intentional now.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. And honestly, there were plenty of times on the trail that because we didn't have that stimulation, that it was kind of boring. When you go and you see another rock, another mushroom, another tree, another castle, honestly, we saw a lot of castles, that it starts to become a little bit more mundane. And that is good, and I'm perfectly fine with that kind of thing. And it allows you kind of to reset your brain to being used to that slower pace. You're walking instead of driving a car in the way that your body probably was more intended to live life.
Probably designed to do that.
Yeah. And we also had a lot of pain throughout the trip. Thankfully, all of our injuries we've totally recovered from. Nothing was serious. We never.
Shin is fixed.
We didn't have any lasting damage at all. But I guess there was a lot of suffering that led to reward, and that's why I kind of welcome it whenever we're on the trail. That there are so many things in life or on the trail where you put in that extra work, and then in the end, you are rewarded with something that is so much more satisfying because of it. And that kind of reminds me of my big takeaway, which was being able to better communicate through the German language with the locals. Where I was putting in hundreds of hours leading up to this, I kind of did a 6-month immersion that I kind of created for myself between my classes. Most of my YouTube algorithm is in German now.
Podcast.
Yes, podcast, exactly. More music. So there were a lot of things that I did just to be able to better understand the language and the culture so that I could have fun hanging out with people. And boy, were they really excited to hang out with me. Yes, who's this weird American guy who wants to talk to us the whole time? But honestly, because I was able to speak to them and kind of pass that threshold of understanding what they were saying, they wanted to talk to me more than I wanted to talk to them. There were times when I had to use the Midwest goodbye on someone to try to like inch myself away, which like the Germans are not necessarily known in America for being that kind of people, of wanting to open up and be social in that way. And it was so cool to do that. And I think my favorite example of that was when we were in Braubach for the Braubacher Winzerfest. So that wine festival was on our day off from hiking. And we were able to like really be active in the day. Where last year when we visited Germany, I felt like I was more of an observer looking into a culture. We had to speak a lot more English when we were going around. But at Winzerfest, I felt like I was able to be an active participant in someone else's culture. I was able to do the traditions with them, sing the songs, join the parade at the end even. And these are things that I will always cherish and remember. And I wanted to leave you with just some of a little montage I put together of some of my highlights from Winzerfest. And when you travel in the future, I don't know what it looks like for you, but I would urge you to find a way to put in a little bit of that hard work ahead of time, do some of that voluntary suffering for whatever goal you're looking towards. And I hope that you're rewarded in the same way that I was with this trip.
Wir trinken noch einen Schluck. Der Wein, der kommt von hinten hin. Und trinken wir das Essen her. 1, 2, 3, gluck, gluck. Wir trinken noch einen Schluck. Wir das Salz und das Fisch.